Your content sucks. Please just stop trying.
On the track.
Welcome to another episode of the Common Podcast. Guys, as you all know, we've been doing this kind of bullying episode-a-thon, whatever you want to call it, for the month of October, which is Bullying Prevention Month. And today we're going to be covering a topic that we've kind of already talked about on the podcast previously, but today we're going to be talking about cyberbullying. And that's exactly what y'all just saw in the beginning of the podcast, which is that skit that y'all just saw. But anyways, right now we're doing the podcast live on Twitch, and if you're interested, that's going to be the first link in the description. Believe me when I say this, that's the best way to experience because you're doing it live and you get to engage with us. Without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it. I'm going to introduce today's guest, which is Saul.
What's up, everyone? Good to be back on Bully Month.
Bully
whatever
Month.
It's called.
You think it should be called Bully Month instead of Bullying Prevention Month?
I think it should be called Prevention Month Bully.
Anyways, bro. So I want to start off with this question because I really don't know the answer to it. Usually whenever I ask you something, I know it. But have you ever been a victim of cyberbullying?
I mean, in a way, as some of you guys know, we play a lot of video games, right? And so that's obviously online. I don't know if you count this, but I guess this is a form, right, of threatening someone and harassing them.
Yeah.
I was playing online one time, and this guy I was talking shit to, obviously, and he was talking shit back. And we didn't know each other, right? We're strangers across the world. And he then proceeds to read my address and my first and last name out loud, and threatens to call the cops to my house.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So basically swatted me, yeah. This was like Black Ops 2, for sure. So years ago. I guess that's bullying, right? Because that's I can't defend myself against that, you know? It's nothing I could do.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the obvious thing that happens with cyberbullying is that people are a lot more confident and fearless when it comes to bullying online, because that face-to-face interaction typically is a lot more confrontational, obviously, and people won't say what they say online in your face, right? Which is, I think fundamentally, which is the whole problem with the whole cyberbullying and why we have these keyboard warriors. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, it's kind of weird because there's no like in the middle, because when everything's face to face, like if you and I were face to face and we're like kind of having it at each other, typically what would happen is we would try to find like a bridge where we're both like kind of satisfied or we're just cordial, because obviously that conflict is gonna have to do that. But anyways, online, I feel like we have two opposite sides of the spectrum where one person just absolutely does not care at all. We all know those savages online, right?
Yeah.
That there's just no barriers. Like they'll say whatever, talk about your mama, talk about your dead auntie, uncle. It doesn't matter, you know? Yeah. And then on the other side, we see the very emotionally connected people to the internet, right? Where they get extremely offended. And that could be all of us, right? Because we are prone to negativity. And so, like, the perfect scenario is, let's say you get 100 positive comments, but one negative one. Our mind is programmed to think about that one negative comment. And right? I was thinking about that today because just randomly I was driving around. And do you think that's a beneficial thing, or do you think that's something that's a negative?
To only focus on the one negative thing? I think it depends. I think if you're someone with a lot of influence and a lot of attention, it's probably a bad thing. Like if you're a super popular personality online and you focus on those, 1% of the negative comments, are probably not good for you. Like they're going to slowly turn you into someone that cares too much about what people think, you know,
Yeah.
as opposed to someone like you and I who are smaller. We could take those single comments and kind of use them for good. Maybe they have some truth to them, you know. You could take that and run with it and improve. So
Yes.
it honestly just depends on the level of hate that you're getting, you know.
Yeah.
If it's overwhelming, you obviously toxic, you know.
Well, I don't know. I don't agree with that. So this is the two things that I see is that if there's a majority of quote unquote negative comments, what if there is something wrong with what you're posting or something's wrong with your content? If majority of the people are thinking that way, then you probably need to reconsider what you're doing, evaluate it. Probably maybe you have your blinders on and you're not, thinking about that. Or you also have to, like, let's say it's just 100 good comments and then one bad comment. You have to be very smart in considering what this person is talking about and if it's constructive criticism or this, or you should just, like, if the person says something like, hey, your camera frame was like a little crooked. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that could be constructive criticism. But this person's like, hey, your content's crap. Like, just quit. You know what I mean? That's just something that's just toxic.
Yeah, but there could be some truth in toxic comments though. Like, your camera is super crooked. Fix it, you piece of shit. You know, like, that's a toxic comment, but it has some truth to it, right? Your camera was probably fucked up. So you just kind of have to pick and choose and realize what's right and what's wrong. But yeah, for sure, you're right. If a majority of your feedback is negative, you're doing something wrong. But I mean, like, in the sense of, like, someone that's super popular that gets 10,000 comments and 1,000 of them are negative, that's probably not good for you to see. So, I mean, look at Andrew Tate, right? He's someone that gets a lot of feedback that's mostly negative, and it's mostly by females. And
do you think it's mostly negative?
I think he's doing everything right. Well,
it's just louder. We got to think about how the negativity is louder, and it's mass media.
Yeah, I feel like it is pretty 50-50, which is, like, that's a high percentage of hate.
Because I think the mass media talk about Andrew Tate very negatively, but everybody that I talk to in person is okay with the guy.
No, well, I disagree. Males tend to be like, that guy's funny, that guy's, haha, I like him. But girls tend to be like, that guy's an idiot. Like, at least in my experience, I don't know.
Well, he's exposing them, right?
What, women?
Or he's exposing the game.
Yeah.
Not women. He's exposing the game. I had a little gathering the other day, and I linked up with one of my cousins that I haven't seen in a while, and he got a new girlfriend, right? And he wanted to have this conversation about Andrew Tate, and I'm like, okay. Like, I told him I really don't want to have it, but let's do it. And then so we started talking about it, and his chick was like very like pro Tate. Like, she was like, yeah, I mean, makes sense. This makes sense. Like, sometimes he's out of pocket, but I mean, a lot of the stuff he says fundamentally is true. But I get that a lot from a lot of the people that I speak to. Maybe it's just the people I have conversations with, but majority of the face-to-face conversations I have with people are like that.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I tend to find that women just don't like him. But what people don't realize though is that he's obviously a troll, right?
Yeah.
He'll take a small truth and expand on it and make it ridiculous, and that's why people don't like him. So he does speak a lot of facts, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So as far as like your content goes, though, you haven't really, or at least you haven't really paid attention enough to find like somebody leave like a negative comment, like let's say for the podcast, for your podcast. You haven't really got a negative comment. Everybody that watched your podcast pretty much likes it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now, for the most part, most people like it. And I feel like that's because most people that watch my stuff are know me in some type of way. So most people don't really go against me, Like, when I see people in person, they're like, oh, I watched your podcast, I liked it. They've never once said they dislike it, which is probably just because they know me and they're cool with me,
Yeah.
They probably don't even like it, but they're just saying that because
They support
it's
you.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I've had people come at me because of some of the podcast topics that I've had, like
Yeah.
the Cain Velasquez one. Somebody was calling me like
But
a
do you consider that cyberbullying though?
bro. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. It made me feel a type of way. It really did.
Really?
Yeah, like
Which ones in specific?
that one, the Cain Velasquez one, because the guy was like
Uh-huh.
really coming at me with like a bunch of messages. I didn't really. I was trolling with my replies, but a part of me really wanted to engage and really try to explain my point to this guy, but I knew that it was useless. I knew this guy was just
Yeah.
not gonna see my point of view, but it did have like an effect on me. And here's the weird thing is like the exact same thing that I'm talking about is a lot of the people that commented on the Instagram post and the YouTube were agreeing with me. It's like, yeah, I totally agree, blah, blah, blah. There's one guy just kind of he took a hold of my whole mind for the rest of the day. I'll put it to you like that. Like that was the only thing I was thinking about. And I started like questioning myself and, just kind of, it's a scary feeling. There was another instance too where the same thing happened, and it was on Instagram. I forgot for what podcast. And it's crazy because as soon as one negative thing happens, it makes me feel a type of way. But
Mhm.
I know based off of like hearing other podcasts and hearing other people talking about it, it's just not worth engaging in. So I don't.
Yeah.
I do my best not to. But it does make me feel a type of way. Like it makes me question myself.
Yeah, imagine that at a grand scale, right? Like if you had millions of followers and you got messages like that in the thousands, you know, that could be super compromising to your mental health, which is what this whole month is about, right? Is bringing
Yeah.
awareness to that, to in particular cyberbullying in this episode. Um, Besides that, have you experienced anything close to bullying online?
Mm, besides you in the early
Me?
in the early days.
Well,
No.
no one liked you. Let's be honest. Back then,
What do you mean?
except your brother, because you were a toxic, annoying kid back then.
Yeah, no, I mean, then again, like I spoke about on the podcast that we recorded previously was that I have a high tolerance for that, and I don't identify, a lot of things as bullying. I just don't. So as far as me getting bullied, no. But going back to how you said it's kind of dangerous mentally, I want to talk about how the people that actually make a living off of social media, making content, all this stuff, like that is their life. Like they have a duty to post and do all this stuff. Let's take like a girl, like an IG model, for instance, right? And she's over here posting all this stuff, like posting her body, whatever it is. And then she's obviously going to get a crap load of comments. That can be a dangerous thing, right? Because it's like, what do you tell that person? Oh, don't pay attention to him. But that's her life. Like that's literally what consumes her and provides for her. So that's like a
Yeah,
dangerous game to be playing.
yeah, for sure. That's why you gotta stay away from people like that, because they literally live in their own world that doesn't exist in the real life. It's all when you live online and make your money online. It's a very slippery slope. Um, Fuck. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Man, I don't remember. Give me a second. I'll think about it.
All right.
But yeah, as far as online, yeah, you got to be careful, man, because I feel like girls get it pretty bad. Um, maybe for like fat shaming and stuff. I feel like that's very common with girls, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not for men, because men really don't care, right? But girls could be toxic and mean to each other. Um, my perception of women is that they're very nice, sweet people at first, right? But as you get to know them, they start talking shit about their friends, and it's very common for them to bully each other online in group chats and stuff like that. Like, I forgot who. I think it was Joe Rogan talked about how his daughter had trouble online already and stuff like that, and how he had to take away her phone, which is ridiculous, right? She's young, and the fact that bullying is happening not only in schools but online doesn't really let people have an escape anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a serious threat.
What do you think fasting from all of that is a good idea? I think it is.
From what? From the internet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes I wish I went back to when I was a kid and the internet was like, just on your flip phone and that's it. Because it you enjoy the little things more when you don't spend so much time online, and I think you and I could both agree on that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the thing is like there's so many options to do now for us, right? Which is part of the problem. You give human beings too many options. They tend to become undecisive. It's kind of ironic, right? It's like, oh, we want more options. You get more options, then you don't know what to do with it. And so now we have so many streaming platforms. We have so many social media platforms. We have so much things to do that we really don't know what to do. I catch myself doing that too. Like today, I really didn't have much to do besides a couple of errands. And then I was sitting at home for a couple hours like, what do I do? There's not much I could do but go online. And that's what I did. I got online and everything like that. But in a time in the past, we would have gone outside and,
Yeah.
done something productive.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say now. So we're at a point now where cyberbullying is very profitable, and the perfect example of that is 6ix9ine, right? So this guy literally bullies other personalities online to make money, to get more attention, more fame, and it's rewarded. This guy, that's all he does, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of him. Like, I really do enjoy him as a personality, but that's all he does. That's his thing. You'll see him constantly poke fun at people, and in a way kind of bullying them, right? And that's what he does. That's how he makes a living. So we're at a point now where that's more acceptable now. Like, people follow this guy for that. They want to see that. And yeah, it's crazy to me that's a way you can make money now.
Yeah. Recently, I'm not sure if you know of him or anything like that, but you know who Antonio Brown is? Former football player.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, well, he's been taking the whole 6ix9ine route, just taking shots at different people because he's out of the NFL now and nobody wants him. So, like, he took a shot at Tom Brady where he posted a picture with his wife, and she was like, obviously a picture taken out of context, bad angle, everything like that, but she looks like she's about to kiss him when they won the Super Bowl, where like she reached out for a hug or whatever. The context is she was giving everybody hugs because they had just won the Super Bowl. But in this particular frame, it looked like she was about to kiss Antonio Brown. And then so he posts it and puts a stupid ass, caption. But he's been doing that for, a couple of weeks now.
And it's working, right? It's
Yeah,
getting him
exactly.
attention.
It's working. It's like you say, it's profitable, and it's getting all the viewers to what he's trying to push now, which is his music. So he started rapping.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's smart of him. Yeah, because I was gonna say, if his goal is to get picked up again, that's probably not gonna help at all. It's gonna make it worse, if anything.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. People are making money off of bullying now.
Well, yeah, bro. It's kind of like if you're not an appalling personality online, you're not gonna make it, right? Like if you don't say some outlandish stuff nowadays, you're not really gonna make it. Like, let's say you play the goody two shoes routes. There's anomalies out there, right? Like, for instance, a Fortnite player, Nick at 30.
Ninja too.
Well,
For a while, right?
well, he's cusses and everything now, but like Nick at 30 is an anomaly. Who like that makes it, right? Like if you play the goody two shoot, he's cusses too. Yeah. The goody two shoes route, it's very hard to make it. Like, you really have to say something very outlandish in order to like really blow up, because you have to catch people's attention, and people love to gravitate towards negativity for some odd reason.
The funny thing is that just a few years ago it was the complete opposite. I remember people like Logan Paul and Jake Paul, they wouldn't cuss at all. Roman Atwood wouldn't cuss at all. And these were the guys at the top of the food chain. As well as, I don't know if you know who Captain Sparkles is. he was a Minecraft creator, one of the top creators ever. Preston Plays, another one, didn't cuss. Like all these people that were so huge and didn't and were making like PG content were the biggest of the the top of the top because of that, because it was accessible to everyone. And so now it's the opposite. Now people are desensitized, I feel like, and they see content all day and they just want something that kind of excites them and is out of the norm. So of course people are gonna take it to the next level and they're gonna cuss and they're gonna show crazy stuff and crazy energy. Like what's that guy's name? Speed.
Speed.
That guy's crazy. He's super entertaining though, right?
Yeah.
Because he took it to the next level for sure.
Yeah. Another thing I think, which is what has caused all those people to kind of transition, is they all kind of realized that they don't need the gatekeepers. Like they don't need these huge companies. Like, because a lot of the times what would happen is like YouTube would tell them you need to be family friendly if you want that contract, or Netflix would tell you can't be saying this if you want that contract. And a lot of these people are now realizing like, oh, I can do this on my own. Like I can build platforms on my own. I don't need to follow boundaries and rules and anything like that. And so, they become undeniable is what happens. Like they do it their way. They get the audience, and then now these platforms really can't deny them. It's like, oh, well, were we going to kick off this guy that pulls in millions of views a week? Like, no, we can't do that. Right. So they just kind of accept it.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Interesting how times change, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as cyberbullying, I think that's the only experiences I've had is that guy trying to swat me. I mean, maybe some when I was younger. I got in trouble for flirting with other girls when I was younger. Has that ever happened to you?
What do you mean?
For instance, right? I message a girl like saying like, "What's up?" and then the same account replies like and on her profile being like, "Hey, this is her man. Like, fuck off. I'm gonna beat your ass." I've gotten a couple messages like that when I was younger, like in high school and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Did you?
No.
And I'd always piss them off. I'd be like, "All right, then, motherfucker, what's up?" Yeah.
Like no,
I wouldn't do shit.
You'd be like, "Nah, she messaged me. What? Did she message me first? Did she delete it or what?"
Yeah.
She said something like that.
Yeah, no, man, but I would antagonize him.
Lazardi says, like, people saying that 6ix9ine is making fun of PNB Rock when PNB Rock didn't do anything, but he was the same exact way. Yeah, well, PNB Rock, passed away.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, exactly. He's throwing shots at someone that died, bro. Like that guy is the ultimate
troll,
savage, dude. He doesn't care because like for instance, right? He would have never said anything about PNB Rock until he was trending. Why was he trending? Because he was dead, and he didn't give a shit. He was like, "This is my time to do what I do and get some attention." And he did it. And
what do you say? Man's really died over a waffle.
Something like that. Which is messed up, right? But that's his brand, and no one really bats an eye anymore because that's what they expect from him,
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
I think, like, to conclude the whole cyberbullying thing, I think it's weird because it's something that's so simple, right? What's the advice you would give somebody? Just ignore the negativity, right? But it's just something that's just, I think, has to come through experience and maturity, that you kind of have to figure that out on your own. You have to realize that giving that thing too much attention is going to be bad for your mental health, and you really need to pull back and realize that, this isn't the real world.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's at the end of the day, that's what I would say is, yes, people are going to say stuff to upset you, but at the end of the day, you're safe. You're not in any immediate harm's way. You're online. So, yes, people are going to be assholes to you. It happens not just to you, but to everyone. Everyone's experienced some form of hate online. So, of course, just remember it's only online. And as long as it stays there, you're fine. Once you control your emotions and realize that words are just words. I know how that's super cliche, right? But once you realize that, you take all the power away from the words.
100%. Yeah, there's this old African proverb that says if there's no enemy within, the enemy out can do you no harm. So once you control your emotions, doesn't matter what anybody else says, you're able to sustain yourself and be calm in your actions. You don't let other people's words take control of you.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hey, story that I haven't really shared on the podcast, I don't think, but my house got egged. I told you about that, right?
Oh yeah. When was this?
This was 3 months ago.
Did you ever find out who or why?
No, but some kids did get arrested for egging houses, but in the next city. So I don't know if it was that, or I don't know if I was targeted or what it was, but I did release 2 weeks prior to that a pretty controversial topic. And I mean, it could have been that. It could have been just...
Nah, bro.
No, here's the thing though, right? Because my first thing was like, okay, well, it's just like, it was like a spontaneous thing. Like it just so happened to be my house because they didn't hit up any other house. But the thing is, on my street, there's these kids that play football literally every night outside my house. They came to my house. These kids witnessed them throw eggs and then leave. They could have chose any other house, which kids don't play outside.
Yeah.
And I live in a decent sized neighborhood, but they chose my house where these kids were going to witness them.
What if it was the kids playing football and they just were like, we're going to blame it on someone else?
Nah, I don't think so. They're good kids.
Why not?
I talked to them. They're good kids.
See, that's how you know you're getting old, because you're getting fooled by little ass kids and they're laughing behind your back. You know why they egg your house, right? Because you'll be mowing the lawn at 7 a.m. every damn morning. That's why they be egging your damn house.
Nah, bro, they're good kids.
All right, bro. Whatever. When you catch one holding the egg at the front of your door, don't come running to me. I warned you.
Anyways, bro, you have anything else to say?
No, other than check out the Outlier Podcast. We're about to record it right now, right after this episode.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Go check that out. It's always in the description. Like I said, first link is going to be the link to the Twitch. So I've been live on there for about 4 days a week now. And go check that out. You want to check out the Instagram, that's going to be also in the description, The Real Common Podcast. And without further ado, I'm going to be having a special guest for next week's episode, which I'm very excited for. So make sure you look forward to that Fridays. So thank you all so much, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Hey.
On the track.